Are you wondering how to start an EV charging business, but you don't know where to start? Well, today I'll be giving you the map. I'll be answering some of the most common questions I get from entrepreneurs when they're at the beginning of their startup journey. This is the second video of the 3-part question and answer series. In this video, I'll be covering topics like figuring out your offer, the best locations, and choosing a business model. And I'd love if you were to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and also comment below if there's any questions that you have that I didn't answer. And if you'd like to have your own one-on-one strategy call with me, feel free to book a time in the links below. Also, check out my course below for entrepreneurs called How to Start an EV Charging Business. This is everything I wish I knew when I was starting an EV charging company. It will fast track you to the money and help you avoid all the common mistakes. And make sure you watch to the end of the video because that's the most important part. All right, let's go. Yeah, man, you nailed it. That's exactly the hardest part about this industry. Exactly what you just explained is when you see a charger on someone's land, you think it's simple. You just go put a charger there, but there's so many different people involved in the setup of that land that it's like, well, who do I talk to give me the yes or the no? And it's different with what type of building. So for a business, for example, you go in, let's say you talk to the manager. The manager's like, oh, well, it's not my call, it's the owner. Talk to the owner and they're like, yeah, this is our business, but we don't own the land. We're leasing the building. And then it's like, okay, well, who owns the land? Then you want to talk to the property managers. So the property managers are usually the gatekeepers to whoever you got to get to. Almost everything I was doing in the companies I worked for was reaching out to property managers. And there's property managers for commercial and residential. So they manage business locations and condo buildings. And the property managers, usually you can't get directly to the owner of the land. Like there's no phone number, they're not telling you the name of the person. But if you get a property manager on your side, so how you pitch it is, look, do you have properties that are in need of installing EV chargers? We can help you. Because usually the owner of the land is like, hey, property manager, we need help getting some EV chargers installed. Everyone's asking us, who do we talk to? And the property manager's like, I don't know. But if you now become their main contact, then the property managers can use you as the supplier for these chargers. So yeah, that's why I always say, if you're looking to install chargers at a business, try to go for a small, locally owned business that the owner in the building owns that land too. It's not some mega corporation like Walmart or somewhere where there's thousands of locations, 1 million people involved. It's going through the property managers and trying to find smaller spots that can give you the yes or the no. Depends. No, it's slower than that. The thing is with level 2, there's such a wide range of how fast it can be. It depends on the size of the breaker that you attach it to. So it's not so much about how fast the charger is, it's how much power is being pumped into the charger. But I would say really, without going too technical, mostly you're going to have a 40 amp. But if you can, pay a little bit extra to go for a faster charger, because the faster the charger, the more money you're going to make, right? But you could probably charge up in like 6 to 8 hours for a Tesla. But the thing is, nobody's really trying to leave their car there charging from 0 to 80 on a level 2. They're just going to top up. It's like one of those things, you see a charger, you plug, you're just going to get a little bit of juice whenever you can. So many different business models. We'll pay you a monthly fee for the parking spots, but it's a tiered system. So like if the chargers are being used at this much, then we'll pay you this much. And if they're being used down here, then we'll pay you this much. But like, it's so messy, and EV charging is already so complicated as it is. These owners are like, I don't even know what all this means. Let's make this as simple as we can. We'll pay for everything. You don't have to pay us a penny. There's no monthly fees, nothing. And we take all the profit. I found one location and the install was 40 grand. And right away we were like, nope, no way. We're never going to make our money back. And then you start to learn what to look for a cheap install. So it's like, oh, I knew what to look for. I didn't even need to bring an electrician really because I could eyeball how much this install was going to cost after doing so many. So then once I found ones that were like 5 grand, 6 grand, 7 grand, I'm like, let's go. These are perfect because we'll make our money back in a year, 2 years, maybe. And then after that, it's just 100% profit. This offer works if you find cheap installs. But the thing is, sometimes you'll do a site visit and the quote will be like 15 grand, 20 grand. And then you can be like, okay, look, we'll split this with you, or we'll split the cost and split the profits. Or then you just be smart with your return on investment. Like, okay, well, what are we willing to do here? You can be creative with each different spot. You don't, because once you get an opportunity, it's hard to find opportunities. So you don't want to just throw it away, right? So you might be able to work out a deal. Exactly. The first one's so tough. Took me like 6 months to get the first one. And then after that, the following 6 months, got like 10. Yeah, so people think that chargers are broken they break a lot, but it's just because whoever's charger it is hasn't just restarted it. The problem is that these chargers, it's like a cell phone. They're connected to the internet, right? And sometimes they get disconnected from the internet. And sometimes you can fix it through the software, but often you'll need to go out and just restart the machine. So that's the biggest thing. If you have someone that's available to just go and like reboot it, that'll fix 90% of your problems. Definitely. Definitely. Yeah. You can do both with ChargeLab. Primarily, they're a software company, but they do sell chargers. And I think it's just easier to go with both, you know? This is the thing is the software is the hard part. It's the most complicated part. And there's lots of companies that are hardware suppliers and then they built their own software. And that's okay, but the software is secondary. Or there's software companies like ChargeLab that also offer hardware and they've mastered the hard part. Like the software is the complicated part because the chargers are just like a contraption that the electricity flows through. Like it's not that complicated. 99% of people don't do white labeling and you don't really need to. White labeling is really the biggest benefit is you have full control over the app and you can put all your own branding on it and everything. But I would say in the early stages, just go with the co-branding. Use ChargeLab's app and it'll still say your logo on it and everything too. But I'm pretty sure you'll be downloading the ChargeLab app and then it'll have your logo at the top of it. And it's the difference between like 10 grand up front versus 25 bucks a month, you know? And then when you guys grow, you're massive, you have chargers everywhere and you really are making a ton of money, then you can go to the white labeling. But in the early days, stick with the co-branding.